Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello and good morning everyone. The Honorable my lecture of scriptwriting subject is Srebeni Wijaya, my beloved friends and also all of audience. Let me tell a bit about myself first. My name is Larasati Syahputri. I am a student from 4BB class at Polytechnic Sriwijaya State. So, in this video, I would like to talk about the journal of integrating writing process, and the title is Perspective from Screenwriting Industry. This journal is written by Craig Batty and Stacy Taylor. Number 1 and Volume 1, published in 2021. So I hope through this video presentation this time we can increase knowledge about writing process from the screenwriting industry. Well, this presentation will take about 10 to 15 minutes. If you have a question, you can write them via WhatsApp, LMS, or comment below. Let's move on to section of presentation. There are 5 sections of this presentation. First, introduction. Second, screenwriting and education. Third, become a screenwriter. And fourth, being a screenwriting. And the last one is conclusion. Section 1, Introduction. Screenwriting is an often overlooked area within the broader creative writing discipline, and to some extent media practice and screen production. Screenwriting is often represented by only 1 or 2 chapters, if represented by at all. In 2010, the Screenwriting Research Network founded the Journal of Screenwriting in an attempt to remedy the lack of critical attention paid to this area. There is not much work in this journal that focuses on scenario writing as a practice, on work that discuss the creative process and industry from the point of view of the intention and creation of practitioners' new work. The creative writing discipline has in recent years taken major strides toward addressing authentic creative practice research, with key authors including Grammy Harper, Jerry Kroll, Jen Webb, Nigel Crowd, and Donnelly. Their work, which include written and edited books, book chapters, journal articles, and editor of high-level journals such as New Writing and Text, has developed critical mass for those interested in how research informs, shapes, and is manifested by creativity. Therefore, this article seeks to contribute to the growing body of research on the practice of screenwriting by outlining their set of perspective on their creative work, how to write good screenplay. They also share their experiences when they first start writing, and how practice and get idea for writing, and etc. This perspective relates not only to issues specific to screenwriting and screenwriting pedagogy, but also we suggest to creative writing more broadly. Okay, now let's move on to the next section, the body of the journal, about screenwriting and education. Perspective from Head of Drama for BBC Northern Ireland, Patrick Spence said, "You can study and learn about things that work and things that don't work by watching movies and talking about them. And that's all important. But you really are not a writer unless you have written 20 scripts," he said. He suggests that students should push through the curriculum, Spence going on to argue that according to Masgood literary agents, representation would be hard to find unless the author already had a body of work to show. He then clarified that writing courses can be useful, but only if they force you to write constantly, not just speculate about writing that long. Next section about become a screenwriter. When asked about how they come to be in the screenwriting industry, interviewers gave a variety of responses. What writers are often asked in interview is, when did they start writing and when did they decide to pursue writing full time? In terms of their place in the wider creative writing community, many of the people we interviewed revealed that their early life in writing was occupied with from other than script as they developed their storytelling skills. Like Graham said, if you're a writer, you are someone who just need to write. Maybe you have been writing since you were 12. You have probably just been writing and writing and writing. You just don't know why. Whether you keep a diary or write a short story or write an article or whatever. That's how you express yourself. And very good writers have faced a lot of resistance and backlash and hardship like the less than good writer. They just keep going, he said. Besides that, Mark Weinberg also said, on average, I would say I read 10 scripts a week, which is great education for writing, because you don't learn to write screenplay by watching movies. Of course, it helps you, but you will really only learn by reading. You will find people whose work you admire, and people you say, there's no way I'd write like that. If we look at the story Mark Weinberg talks about his role as a screenwriter assessing screenplay, which for him isn't available to learn about the art and craft of screenwriting. In his mind, most script analysts are writers too, so reading up to 500 scripts a year is useful education about what works and what doesn't. Okay, if before we talk about become a screenwriter, now we talk about being a screenwriting. When it's come to generating idea and putting them on the page, Graham reminds us that you don't have to come up with idea while you are sitting in front of the computer. Maybe take a while you are just in your head, but keep writing, thinking and writing. And by thinking of idea in a conducive space, the process of putting those idea into the page become like copying your work, he said. It's all about the idea of rewriting, something practically all screenwriting manual advocate. In this sense, thinking can lead to generating idea for writing. And as highlighted, copying the stuck into an engaging and repetitive way of writing that inevitably leads to many other writers, done in layers like structure, character, sound, and theme. But for Macha, good writing comes from rewriting and acknowledging that your first draft will be rubbish. He believed that the only way was to produce a complete first draft. Only then can an author see the number of their creation and can understand their intents, which can then be refined accordingly. The last section, conclusion. Writing for the page and writing for production make for a different reception and also the experience of that reception. But in writing of this journal, that discussion about screenwriters share a great deal with other creative writers when it comes to writing practice. With that in mind and in relation to what screenwriting can tell us about creative writing more broadly, Another question posed to interviewers is screenwriting creative writing? Debate on screenwriting as both a creative and a industrial pursuit are beyond the scope of this paper, but we don't want to end by sharing Weinberg views. He said, let's say you have to write Transformer 3. Probably not your favorite segment, right? So, how are you going to write the script and make it into something that you can at least believe in? Because if you have contempt for it, it's going to come through in your writing, right? So, how do you find a way to make it something that you care about? That's why screenwriting is definitely, definitely creative or art. There's no question. If it's well done, people will look at it and say, well, that was better than it had any right to be. Making work that the writer, and by extension an eventual audience, care about is a theme that runs throughout this interview. From discussion of writing needing to write to discussion of screenwriting and the human condition, and now to this example of how even the most commercial writing commission might be approached. What is clear is that no matter what is writing, they need to be emotionally invested in it. Whether a screenplay, a novel, or a poem, according to the interviewers, there is no subtype for genuine care and passion for the story, its character, and its theme to drive good writing. Well, I think my presentation this time is enough. I really apologize if there are many mistakes in the words and speech in the video. Thank you for those of you who have watched this video to the end. I hope that after watching this video, our knowledge will increase regarding the writing process from various industry perspectives. You can give suggestion and criticism. Once again, thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.